Good morning friends. Today's topic is antenna arrays. Before going to discussing about antenna arrays, first here we have to see what is array. So already we know the array is nothing but collection of or group of similar elements. Like that, the antenna array is nothing but group of collection of similar antennas. See here, this one is the antenna array. So in this antenna array we are using the number of antennas. So collection of antennas and a group of antennas existing in this antenna array. So now what is the use of the antenna array? So by using the antenna array, here we have to obtaining the greater directivity in a particular direction, and also the maximum radiation existing in the particular direction by using this antenna array. Okay, by using the single antenna, there is no possibility to obtaining the greater directivity or greater radiation in a particular direction or desired direction. That's why here we are using the antenna array. Okay, by using this antenna array, we are obtaining the maximum radiation in a particular direction. Now, that's why these antenna arrays are used in point to point communication. And by using this antenna array, we have to increase in the field strength at 4 point P also. Now here this antenna array is also called radiating system. So in this radiating system, all the antennas spaced equally, means between the two antennas the space will be equal here, means all the antennas are spaced equally, and here we have to obtaining the maximum field strength at the point P from the radiating system. Now how we are obtaining the total field strength at the point P? So the total field strength at the point P is nothing but vector sum of field produced by the individual antenna in the array. Okay, how we are obtaining the total field strength at the point P? So how we are obtaining the total field strength is nothing but vector sum of field produced by individual antenna of the array. Like that, here we are obtaining the maximum field strength at the 4 point P from the radiating system. And here in this antenna array, all the antennas are spaced equally. So that's why this antenna array is also called linear array. This antenna array is also called linear array. And in this antenna array, all the antennas fed with currents of a equal magnitude and progressive uniform phase shift. That's why this antenna array is also known as uniform linear array. Uniform linear array. So now here these array configurations. So we have a antenna arrays in different configurations like a straight line and a circle, rectangle. So many configurations of antennas arrays are possible. And here we have a different types of antenna arrays like a broadside array, collinear array, endfire array, parasitic array. First here we are seeing the broadside array. So what is the broadside array? This one is the structure of the broadside array. In this broadside array we are using the similar antennas. A0, A0, A1, A2, A3, A4. All these are the antennas. And here in this broadside array, all the antennas are parallel to each other and the spacing between the antennas is D in this broadside array. So now here in this broadside array, the maximum radiation is existing. The maximum radiation is existing perpendicular to the axis of antenna array. So here this one is the axis of array, and where the maximum radiation existing in the broadside array. So perpendicular to the axis of array, the maximum radiation is possible in the broadside array. So in the broadside array, the maximum radiation is bidirectional here. And in this broadside array we are placing the antennas with equal spacing, and here in this broadside array all the antennas having the equal magnitude and all are in phase and all are having the equal magnitude. And here each antenna having the axis. So the axis of the antenna is perpendicular to the axis of the antenna array in this broadside array. And coming to the endfire array, okay, so before going to the endfire array, here we have a small topic, that is point sources. So now what is point source? So point source is nothing but the antennas are represented with point source. Here we are seeing the 2 point source broadside array. So point source is nothing but point source is a radiating element. It is occupying the 0 value. So array of point source is nothing but array of radiating elements occupying the 0 value, that is nothing but array of point source. So point source is nothing but here we are indicating the antenna with point source, antenna or radiator that occupying the 0 value, that is nothing but point source. Here we are seeing the broadside array with 2 point sources. Here we are using the 2 point sources as a A1 and A2. The distance between the 2 point sources is D. So here to here D by 2, here to here D by 2, the total distance is D here. And here this one is the 4 point P. And here this one is a 4 point P. From the origin to the 4 point P, the distance is R here. And here to here this one is the path difference. Here to here this one is the path difference. Why here we are obtaining the path difference here? Why we are getting the path difference here means from the wave propagated from A2 to the P is fast compared to the A1 to the P. The wave propagation is from A2 to the P is fast compared to the A1 to P. So coming to the A1 to P wave propagation, the wave must travel extra distance here. So that distance is known as path difference here. So path difference here. So here we have a formula, path difference as a d cos phi. Here we are calculating the path difference in terms of lambda, that is nothing but path difference in terms of lambda, d by lambda cos phi. And by using this path difference, here we have to calculating the phase angle. So the phase angle is nothing but 2 pi into path difference. So 2 pi into what is the path difference? D by lambda cos phi. So now what is the phase angle? 2 pi by lambda. 2 pi by lambda into cos phi. Here this 2 pi by lambda indicating the phase shift. 2 pi by lambda indicating the phase shift, that is beta. So in the place of 2 pi by lambda, here I am writing beta. So now phase angle is beta d cos phi. Beta d cos phi. So next here we are seeing the end fire array. So coming to the end fire array, so this end fire array diagram is similar to the broadside array only. But where is the difference? So the direction of maximum radiation is difference here. In the broadside array, the direction of maximum radiation is perpendicular to the antenna array axis. And coming to the end fire array, in this end fire array, the maximum radiation is coincide with the antenna array axis. The maximum radiation is coincide with the antenna array axis. Why? Because in this end fire array, all the antennas fed with equal magnitude but progressive phase shift, progressive uniform phase shift. So progressive phase shift is nothing but the phase shift will be changes 0 degrees, 180 degrees, 0 degrees, 180 degrees, 0 degrees, 180 degrees, like this. The phase shift must be varying here in this end fire array. So due to that, here we are obtaining the maximum radiation in the axis array only, in the axis of antenna array direction only. So this is the end fire array. So coming to the broadside array, in the broadside array we are obtaining the maximum radiation is bidirectional. Coming to the end fire array, this end fire array providing the maximum radiation is as a unidirection. Either in this direction or in this direction, we are getting the maximum radiation in this end fire array. Why? Because all the antennas having the progressive phase shift here. So that's why in this end fire array we are obtaining the uniform radiation pattern. And here this one is the front view. This is the end fire array. The diagram is same, similar to the broadside array. This is the front view. So next here we are saying the collinear array. So third one is the collinear array. In this collinear array, all the antennas connected coaxially. So in this collinear array is similar to the broadside array. So already we know in the broadside array, the maximum radiation existing perpendicular to the antenna array axis. Here this one is the antenna array axis, and in this collinear array, the maximum radiation is perpendicular to the antenna array axis only. So like this and like this we are forming the collinear arrays. And here in this collinear array, the spacing between the two antennas is 0.3 lambda to 0.5 lambda for obtaining the greater higher gain. For obtaining the higher gain, in this collinear array, the distance between the two antennas is 0.3 to 0.5 lambda. But here, due to this much of small distance between the antennas, here construction problems and feeding problems are arises. To overcome those problems, here we have to attaching the insulators at the end of the antennas. Like that, we have to overcome the constructional and feeding problems in the collinear array. The collinear array structure may be like this or may be like this. So here this one is antenna array axis now. So the maximum radiation is existing perpendicular to the antenna array axis like this. And coming to the parasitic array. So in the parasitic array, basically we are using the two elements. One is the parasitic element and other one is the driven element. Here driven element connected with source and EMF will be induced in this driven element. The current must be produced in the parasitic element. And here parasitic element is used as a reflector or director. It is directing the maximum radiation. The parasitic element only directing the maximum radiation direction. And here the example of the parasitic array is the Agee-Oda array. So in this parasitic array we have to use one driven element and one or more parasitic elements. So this is about parasitic array. All these are the different types of antenna arrays. We have to discuss other topics in next class.